Hello everyone, welcome back to Learn Coding Daily and our Python interview preparation in 10-day series. Today is day 10 and we are going to learn one of the most important topics in Python, exception handling. Now imagine you have built a calculator application. Now a user accidentally divides a number by 0, or suppose your program tries to open a file that doesn't exist. What happens? Without exception handling, your program will crash immediately. But as Python developers, we want our applications to handle such situations gracefully instead of stopping unexpectedly. That's exactly what exception handling helps us achieve. In this video, we will cover everything from try and except to else, finally raise, custom exceptions and common interview questions. So let's get started. Starting off first with the first, what is an exception? So first let us understand what an exception is. An exception is an error that occurs while the program is running. When Python encounters such an error, it interrupts the normal flow of the program. If we don't handle the exception, the program terminates. Suppose if we are printing 10 by 0. When we run this code, Python raises a zero division error because division by 0 is not allowed. So this is a common interview question that you can get. Next up we have syntax error and runtime error. Many beginners confuse syntax error with runtime error. Let's understand the difference. Now for the syntax error we have this. If true, print hello. Here we forgot the colon after if statement. See, there is no colon. So this is a syntax error. Python detects it before the program starts. If I just uncomment this line, I am getting a red underline. That means it's an error. Now what is a runtime error? This is a runtime error that we are trying to divide a number by 0. This code is syntactically correct. There is no syntax error. So Python starts executing it, but when it reaches the division by 0, it throws a runtime error. So what is the difference between a syntax error and runtime error? Syntax error occurred before execution because the code structure is incorrect, and runtime error occurs during execution even though the syntax is correct. Let us now come to try and accept. Now let's learn the most important keywords. So here I have the code. Let me just uncomment this. So what are we doing over here? We are producing an exception that goes inside the try block. If an exception occurs, Python immediately jumps to the matching except block instead of crashing. Okay, so let us see. Enter a number. Say suppose I am entering 10. So whatever number I am entering, so I entered a number, this giving us the correct output. Let us enter. Let us run the file again and let us enter, say suppose 0. It is giving us this. So whenever it is encountering an exception, it is coming inside the except block and printing this statement that we have. Let us take another example. If the user enters ABC instead of number, Python raises a value error which is handled by the except block. Let us just see. Sorry. Yes. See, enter a number. Say suppose I am entering 5. Okay, so maybe some other code is uncommented. That's what is running over here. Okay, this one is running. Okay, got it. I'll just comment it out. Yeah, perfect. Now run the code again. Yes. So what are we going to do? We are going to take a number as an input. So it is, say suppose I am entering high. Please enter a valid integer. Similarly, we have got another one with the value error. Now, why do we use try and except? To handle runtime errors gracefully and prevent the program for program can handle multiple exceptions. So by using multiple except blocks, we can handle such exceptions separately. That's what we are doing over here. So it is first, yeah, dividing a number by 0, division by 0 if a person divides the number by 0, and if a person gives a string or a text instead of an integer. So these two exception blocks are there. Next up we have generic expression. Exception. Exception is the base class for most built-in exceptions. We usually place it after all specific exception handlers. Otherwise, it would catch everything at first. Okay. So this is that is why it said a risky code. This is the basic reason. Although it won't be producing any, yes, it won't be producing any um, output anything as such yet, because we are not printing anything over here. So why should exception be placed last? Because it catches almost every exception. If it appears first, the more specific exception blocks will never execute. That is the reason why we don't execute generic exception at the beginning. Next up we have the else block. What is the else block does? The else block executes only if the try block completes successfully without raising an exception. So with try and except, we are running an else block as well. So let us just uncomment this line and see what will be the output. So enter a number, I am entering 2. So see, this is running so far so good. So instead of this except block, we are getting the else block. This is what the else block does. So it is executed when the try block executes successfully. Then we have finally. The finally block always executes whether an exception occurs or not. It is commonly used for cleanup tasks like closing files, database connection, or releasing resources. Let us just uncomment this. Okay. So here, if we are running the file, obviously the file, say file not found, closing resources. So this is a safe side, that if a file is not there, as for example, a file is not here, so it is raising this exception of finally block. Now, what is the purpose of finally? To execute cleanup code regardless of whether an exception occurred. Then we have the raise keyword. Sometimes we want to generate an exception ourselves when certain conditions are violated. That's where raise keywords is used. Now let us see this. Let me run. Yes. See, age cannot be negative. So this is the exception that we are getting. Now it is used to explicitly raise an error. Then we have custom errors. Custom exceptions. For larger applications, built-in exceptions may not always be descriptive enough. So we can create our own custom exceptions by inheriting from the exception class. So let us just see this one. See, this is created by our own. So this is also how we can create an exception. Now, to make our code more readable and presentable, application specific friendly, we use custom exception. Now let us look at some exceptions you will frequently encounter. Division by 0, value error, type error we get using incompatible data types, like we saw using we were using string instead of integer. Index error, invalid index list, key error for dictionaries, name error for an undefined variable, file not found error, like we saw here there was no file, attribute error, object doesn't have a requested attribute. Now let us have a practical example of this ATM withdrawal. Let us have a look at this one. Let us run the, say suppose 5,000. So transaction is successful and we are getting thank you and thank you statement. So this example combines several concepts: user input, raise, accept, and finally. So it is a good example. Exception handling is used. It is a good example of how exception handling is used in real world application. Now here are some common mistakes to avoid. Catching every exception with a bare accept. Forgetting to handle specific exceptions, ignoring cleanup code, using raise without a meaningful message. So these all mistakes I have pointed it out, and I have pointed out some interview questions as well, and an interview tip as well. So if you want this file, kindly let me know in the comments. I'll surely give you this file. Now that's it for today. Congratulations, you have completed day 10 of our Python interview preparation in 10-day series. Exception handling is a key skill for writing reliable Python programs, and it's a topic that interviewers frequently ask, but it reflects how you handle real world programming challenges. If you have followed all 10 days, you have built a strong foundation in Python for interviews. If you found this series helpful, please like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Learn Coding Daily for more content on Python, Django, Java, Postgres, SQL, Postman, and interview preparation. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy coding!